The Lamp and the Being, a Mental Health Journey. Written and illustrated by me. She chose her path from beyond view. It became hidden. The mystery was to unfold through chance at first, then by way of conscious, thoughtful effort. Along the journey, she encountered creatures of all types and personalities. Some of them said mean things. She hoped to discover how to tame them. She wanted them to be quiet. One day, many years ago, she decided it would be a good idea to buy a house. She wanted to make a home. She searched far and wide until she found the most lovely house, and she bought it. Oh, how she loved that house! So she gave it kindness and care. She raked the leaves and cut the grass. She arranged the furniture and cleaned the windows. And she cooked with much love and very few dollars. And she felt hopeful. This could be the beginning of a wonderful place to live. She called it home. As she settled in, her dear mother gave her a very special gift. The gift was the most beautiful lamp she had ever seen. It had a stained glass shade with many colors. She loved and cherished her lamp. Every day she turned the lamp on and felt her heart warm with the soft light. She admired the colors and thought fondly of her mother. Late one night, however, a burglar snuck into her home and stole the lamp. When she awoke, she saw that her lamp was gone. This startled her. She became scared that this could happen. How had she allowed for her lamp to be stolen? She was sad. She missed her lamp. She missed its soft light. She missed its lovely colors. She cried bitter tears, alone. Then she decided that she needed to take action. She would go in search of her lamp. She must find it and get it back. Maybe the lamp had been abandoned in the alley behind the house. She ran to check, but it wasn't there. Perhaps the lamp had been brought to the local pawn shop. She went to the store, but they had not seen her precious lamp. She continued to look far and wide to no avail. At night, thoughts of her lamp haunted her, and then something else entered her dreams. There, in her dreams, appeared a being. It frightened her. It was large and looming and negative. She knew immediately that it was responsible for her sadness. The being reminded her that she had enjoyed her lamp, and now it was gone. It taunted her. It growled with great strength and drowned out the good thoughts she had. It focused her thoughts on her great loss and the cruelty of the burglar. She told the being to shut up, but it wouldn't. It became louder. Soon, it became apparent that the being would appear in her dreams with frequency. She would awaken with her own screams. And then it moved to the daytime. She no longer had full control of her own thoughts. The more she tried to fight the negative, the more it stuck around. Soon, she felt it in the pit of her stomach, in her heart, and as an uncomfortable tingle throughout her insides. She shouted, "Leave me alone." It did not leave. It kept her company day and night. The lamp itself became a distant memory. In its place was this being. As time went on, she became accustomed to its presence. Negative thoughts were normal now. She went about her daily business, working, keeping up her house, visiting her mother, and so on. After several months had passed, she suddenly realized she hadn't felt the presence of the being in a few days. Where was it? What was this feeling? There was a nervous calm, if that's a thing. She felt a peace within her thoughts, but an anxiousness about a return of the negative. Peace remained. But she didn't feel whole. Where was the other part of her? Her dark cloud had become part of her personality. She called out for the being, "Come back. Why have you left me?" The being was all too pleased at being given another opportunity to torment her thoughts. It hadn't left willingly. It was time and her forgetfulness that had slowly cast it away. Now it was back, and invited no less. Once again, her mind filled with negative thoughts. It took no time for the being to feel comfortable, interrupting both her good mood, day and night. She no longer felt in control. Her life felt sad once again, and her home was no longer a safe place. Once again, she decided to take action. She would move to a new home. That must be the solution. So she sold her house, packed up, and moved to the big city, convinced that a change in her setting would result in a change in her mindset. Distracted by the busy activities of moving and getting to know the new city, she once again regained a sense of control over her thoughts. As life settled in, so did old ideas. The being, it turned out, had followed her to the city. The control she thought she had over her thoughts was gone once again. Negativity crept in and took over. She exclaimed, "There has to be another way." She was correct. There was another way. Almost by dumb luck, but maybe by fate, she found a very special room. In this room, magical things happened. There were people in this room who seemed to know her without ever having met her before. They even said they experienced the same negative thoughts brought on by the being, just like her. She was home. She came home. This was home. It was just a room, but it was home. The people in this room told her many secrets that had been hidden from her until she was ready to hear them. They taught her that if she tries to right her wrongs in a sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble way, she will find peace and happiness. She will no longer feel self-pity, and she will gain interest in other people. Her whole attitude will change. And they also said that a small good deed or kind gesture could have effects that go far beyond what we could ever imagine. Sometimes those effects are visible minutes, hours, days, or even years afterwards. She also learned that while fear, selfishness, and self-centeredness are a big part of the problem, love and tolerance of others are a big part of the solution. She learned that her life circumstances may have led to the being occupying her mind and her life, but now she could tame the being if she could be humble and not try to solve her issues by herself. She learned that the being was part of her, but she didn't have to fear it. There are things in this world much more powerful than the being. She also learned that there were things much more powerful than her. In fact, in this room there existed a mysterious power that could and would help her live in peace despite the negative being. She studied. She read stories of others with the same issues. She also talked with others and became more confident over time. Soon she could acknowledge that the negative being within her was part of her and not be afraid of it. She could use her knowledge of it to help others tame their own negative beings. One day, she was in one of these magical rooms when someone stumbled in, broken and crying and desperate. She said hello to them, and they gave a quiet nod and a hello back. They kept their head down in shame. "Don't worry," she said to them. "I understand." They looked up, surprised. She told them, "Here in this room, we all understand." "Let's talk," she said. "I will tell you my story, and you can tell me yours." "Once upon a time, there was a being that tormented me day and night. It teased me and told me many mean things. And many, many months ago, a burglar stole from me. The burglar took my precious lamp, and the being moved into my head and reminded me that I no longer have my lamp. Eventually, the being stopped talking about the lamp, but it stayed in my head to tease me about other things. I tried to run away from the being, but it lived inside me, so I couldn't run away. I couldn't get it to leave me alone. Then I found this magic room, and I found out that it's okay that the being lives inside me. It's okay that it's part of me. I am okay. And I learned to live with the being and how to keep it from tormenting me. And now I will teach you, my friend." She sat with them and listened to their story and repeated the lessons that had helped her along the way. They kept coming back to the magical rooms full of like minds, lots of understanding, a power greater than any one individual, and where wisdom is found in abundance. And they too felt loved, and finally they too were no longer alone. Then they too learned how to love and accept their own tormented spirit, and how to tame the negative being that makes a home within them. As time went by, they began to pass these lessons on to individuals. In this way, they gave a gift of a better life to strangers who became family. Her journey and lifelong learning continue. This is not the end. This is just the beginning.